Episode 8. So we got a couple news. First of all, we're moving to Sunday as of now, and we're going to release every episode on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's about 6 o'clock in the UK. All right. If you want to check us out on the podcast services, you just check the description below. All right, and let's jump right into introductions. So, Dory, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Dory. I go by she, her, things, video games. They're exciting. They're terrible, sorry.
James?
I'm James. You can find me on Twitter, if you like, at Untitled Smithy.
Oh yeah, hey, I'm on Twitter at dclaire192. I'm really professional. Is the
There you go.
All right, I'm Sebastian. I'm the podcast host. You can follow me at LilSeb93. All right, so what are we currently playing? James, what are you currently playing?
I'm playing quite a lot. I'm still playing some Rainbow Six Siege. There's the new update for Rainbow Six Siege actually, which I guess I'll talk a little bit about now because I forgot to mention that. That would actually maybe be a good thing to bring up quickly. There's the new update for Rainbow Six Siege, which adds Sam Fisher as a playable character, which they sort of shadow dropped when they did the presentation a few days ago. And like Sam Fisher is a really good sort of addition. It's weird because all the characters they've added until now have been original characters. They haven't pulled from anything else. So this is the first time they've pulled a character from something else.
Yeah.
And aside from the fact that he doesn't really look like Sam Fisher at all, he plays pretty well. He's a lot of fun. He's got a new weapon, I think. And aside from that, they've changed a whole bunch about the game. There's a lot of sort of nitty-gritty details that people probably don't care about, but a lot of sort of quality of life improvements. So they've changed the ping system and that sort of thing. So the game feels a lot better to play now, I would say. But aside from that, I've been playing Inertial Drift, which I'll talk a little bit about in a bit, and that's it, I think.
And we want a new Splinter Cell. What are you? Come on,
Ubisoft. Yeah,
we want they seem
completely reluctant to release a new Splinter Cell, so they're just putting him in everything else. Yeah.
Hey Dory, what are you currently playing?
I have been currently playing Outer Worlds, Peril on Gorgon, which I will talk about in a little bit. I have also been playing. I just started playing, although I don't think I'll keep playing. Where the Water Tastes Like Wine, which is this narrative-driven game for the PC. It came out in 2018. Very interesting game, but I don't like the open world aspects, and your character moves so slowly. So I think I'm just going to pass after playing for a few hours. Besides that, a lot of Tony Hawk. There we go. That's the big one I was missing. Yeah, tons of Tony Hawk. I'm still working on that review. It should hopefully be out the week after next.
And how far are you in Tony Hawk?
I have, excuse me, I have the uppers of 60% done with the first game. I still have to get to the second game. It's taking me about a week to do the first, so it'll take me about a week, maybe a little less to the second, because I finally hit my stride and figured out how to do really long strings of combos. Very fun, but a very frustrating situation to figure out. Especially as someone who doesn't remember a lot about the original. So it's been fun, but there's definitely some wonky physics in the game that hold it back.
Okay. I actually put Tony Hawk down because I this week I haven't been in the mood to play games. I'm just one of those, one of those weeks when you just don't feel like playing anything. I've been in football mode because the NFL just started this week, so I've been playing Madden a lot. And I'm like halfway through Darksiders Genesis. I feel like that game's taking longer than I thought it would take. So, I mean, I don't love it, but it's pretty good. But I'm starting to get bored with it. It's starting to drag for me personally. All right, so let's start with James's inertial. What's it called? Inertial
Drift, I think.
Inertial Drift. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough name. But yeah, no, Inertial Drift, it's a game a lot of people probably haven't heard about. It's this small sort of indie game. It's a lot like Ridge Racer, with a sort of neon aesthetic, with a lot of purple and that sort of thing, and thick lines. but it's kind of like Ridge Racer, where it's not so much about realistic driving, but it's more about sort of like it's a lot more arcadey. But like, yeah, no, it's a lot of fun actually because they've got a story mode which is surprisingly sort of they've got characters in the story mode which are quite well realized. You know, they've got a lot of personality to them, and yeah, just in general, like the game is sorry.
What's the story mode like? Is it actually has a story to it? Is it like characters or?
Yeah, no. So like, there's three. I think there's three characters that you can play as. So each of the three characters they have different difficulties to them. So there's the easy character, the sort of middle character, and the difficult character. But they all, I think, I've only played one sort of so far, but I think they all have like different stories, slightly different stories. I assume the stages are all the same and that sort of thing. But I think that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the campaign?
But because
go ahead.
because the game sort of built around this idea of drifting. I should probably bring up the main mechanic is the fact that you turn with the left stick on the controller and you drift with the right stick. So the right stick sort of moves the angle of the car. So it's this weird it's kind of a weird mechanic, but at the same time it sort of kicks in instantly. Like you instantly know what you're doing. It's very easy to pick up. So yeah, I mean, all the sort of difficulty of the three different characters, it all sort of revolves around that concept. Like the most difficult one will be sort of it'll be more difficult to drift because the car is faster and doesn't handle as well.
Yeah. What's the soundtrack like? Is it like synthwave or is it kind of like rock?
It's actually quite strange because it's maybe not what you'd expect. It feels a lot like a PlayStation 1 platformer. It's really sort of an arcadey kind of soundtrack like that.
Okay. It gives off a synthwave kind of vibe to it, you know?
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, with the art style.
The art style.
Yeah.
It's cell shaded, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's got a lot of personality in that way.
Yeah. But like, how you know how much it is? Like, and when's it coming out?
I'm not sure. It's already out. It came out a couple days ago.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're reviewing it. So.
But yeah, I'm not entirely sure how much it is. But I'm working on a review for it. So.
Cool. Do you have anything more to add about it, or?
Not really. I mean, it's not a huge game, so there's not much to cover really. I mean, it all sort of focuses around that core concept of the drifting and the two analog sticks. But yeah, no, there's a lot more modes than the single player campaign, but I haven't sort of dove into any of those yet.
Okay.
But there's stuff like a championship and a Grand Prix and that sort of stuff.
Now, is it difficult? Like you playing on? We said you playing on normal, or?
Yeah, I'm playing on the medium difficulty. It can be difficult. But there's a sort of, in the campaign at least, there's a practice mode where you can go around the tracks as many times as you want and just sort of learn the corners and stuff. So it feels really good to sort of, it's difficult at first, you're crashing into all the walls and everything on the first couple laps, but then you pick it up sort of really quickly and it's really satisfying to sort of hit those corners perfectly. Like just, it feels like you're playing Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift.
Yeah.
You know,
is there like shortcuts in the levels or anything like that?
No, it's very sort of straightforward. Yeah,
so it's kind of realistic, like in a way. It's not realistic, but it's
absolutely not realistic.
But it's not Crash Team Racing kind of like. There's no.
It's a lot closer to Crash Team Racing, I'd say, than to something like Gran Turismo.
But there's no items or anything. Like there's no.
There's no items. No, it's
no blue shell.
No, nothing like that. No, it's not Kart Racer.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
And how many
still waiting for that Kingdom Hearts kart racer. Man, that's great.
I know. How many I'm waiting for that Bloodborne kart racer. It's been rumored forever.
That would be great. You died or you lost. I don't know.
How many cars are in a race? Like 8? Is it like that kind of thing?
Well, the thing is, it's not. The roads are very narrow and it's all about the drifting, so there aren't. At least so far in the single player campaign, there haven't been things where there's been multiple cars on the track. The most cars there's been on the track at any one time has been 2, including my own. So it's been like a one-on-one duel.
Okay.
But even then, there's no collision, so you can just go straight through the other cars as if they weren't there.
Now, is there like a point system that you get for drifting the right way, or?
There is one mode where it's all about, like, it's not about speed, it's about drifting, and you get more points for like being closer to corners and pulling off long drifts and stuff, which is, it's really easy to pull off long drifts because all you have to do is hold the stick, because you can basically drift in a straight line. It's very arcadey.
Yeah.
But other than that mode, it's mostly about trying to get to the finish line as fast as possible.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's pretty much everything, right, in that game?
Yeah, that pretty much covers it, really.
Yeah, it's a pretty small indie game, right? Like, because I saw
Yeah.
I saw the developer talking in YouTube comments, and you usually don't see that. So I'd imagine it's a small team.
It is a very small game, but like for something so small, it's surprisingly good. I wouldn't be surprised if it started getting some more attention, because the reviews so far from other outlets have been very favorable, and mine will probably end up being pretty favorable as well, because I'm quite hot on it at the moment.
It seems like it's pretty big on the Switch. Like I've been seeing a lot of people talking about it. Like the review, I looked at reviews and they were all like Switch reviews. So I'm curious, like,
right?
Yeah. So anyway,
I can see it being good in that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into Dory's impressions of Outer Worlds. Peril on Gorgon. So you've been playing that, but for the last 90 minutes before we started?
Yeah. So I decided to get some time in before we started the podcast. Y'all, I'm just so excited to play the Outer Worlds again. It's like that perfect amount of time between when you put down a video game and you pick it up. Like, at least for me, like I haven't touched Peril. I haven't touched Outer Worlds since my logs say something like November of last year, maybe late November. So I mean, once I beat it, I pretty much dropped it.
Yeah.
I think I played through it once again just to do different options, and to find the party companion that I'd missed, which was the preacher or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love the game. Love Pravati, who is obviously the best character. There's no competition in that game. Basically, Peril on Gorgon, I won't say too much, but it's basically kind of taken straight out of the serials that take place within the world of within the universe of Outer Worlds. And so it's kind of like a mystery, a murder mystery with a bit of a corporate espionage. It's very fun. The writing is still on point as always. Graphically looks nice as always. I actually haven't shot a single shot yet in the first 90 minutes or so, except at sprats, which are these tiny little rat things that tried to attack me, and I was like, go away. This is like my save file right before the end of the game, so I've got like 2,500 ammo of heavy ammo. I'm like, just go away. So I don't know how challenging it's going to be, but I do know that sorry about that. I do know that that it's been pretty fun, that I've enjoyed talking to characters. I'm very much an RPG, not completionist, that's the wrong word, but basically I love to talk to everybody, love to know what everyone's story is.
Right.
So even if it takes me another hour or two, I'll just talk to everybody.
Right. We never talked about Outer Worlds on this podcast. We all beat the game, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I would say it's the best Bethesda game ever made, even though it's not Bethesda.
Sure.
But, like, it's the best Fallout game, I think, next to New Vegas.
It's good. I'm a big fan of the sort of the very dark sort of anti-corporate humor that it has. I'm actually curious to know if the DLC story like sort of continues that theme.
Oh, very much. When I say corporate espionage, I mean corporate espionage. There is a lot of. I've only been playing 90 minutes, and there's already been some pretty good digs at corporations, which I always appreciate.
So what kind of playthrough are you doing? Like, what kind of character do you have?
So I have kind of more of an intelligent hacker who is good at conversations. I'm always more for, especially in this game where I don't think the combat's that remarkable, and I don't think that's a very unpopular opinion. I don't think it's bad, but I just think it's like whatever.
Yeah,
kind of there.
Yeah,
I'm really there for the conversations, for the dialogue, for the characterization.
Right.
I don't really care about the combat, so I usually try to avoid combat if I can. But I don't mind. I mean, a little gunplay. I'm actually kind of itching because I haven't played in almost a year, so I'm itching to get in it with some marauders or whatever is at the abandoned Spacer's Choice facility, which is where the main thing is. There's also a side quest, but I've only seen one so far. I'm just about to talk to another major minor character, so maybe he has a side quest as well. But there are side quests in this DLC, which is cool. I really thought it'd just be a main quest and then you would just go there, but even within this one, you do have some choice of where you go and when you go there, and obviously, you know, there's a lot of choice in Outer Worlds. So I mean, you can just, you know, kill everybody if you want, but that's not my playstyle.
Yeah, I think you said it before the podcast, but how long is this DLC? Do you know? Like, do you have an idea?
I don't know. Actually, I forget if I did say it, then I forgot. But it's oh, you mean earlier today? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm estimating that it's going to be around 4 hours, just because there's a main quest and then there are some side quests. And there's a lot of dialogue, of course, which I like in my games. I love Disco Elysium, which I'm so glad I played after I played Outer Worlds, because there's this great article about how playing Disco Elysium before Outer Worlds will ruin Outer Worlds for you. And I very much agree with that, because you get so much more choice in Disco, and the even though the dialogue in Outer Worlds is really great, it's absolutely breathtaking in Disco. Anyway, this is not a discussion about Disco Elysium, but
once it comes to PS4, we're gonna do a whole freaking spoiler cast for that game.
For sure. I'd love to. But anyway, this is great so far. I've only played 90 minutes, and I mean, it's just wonderful to hear these characters again, being in this universe again, even if it's a bit of a dystopia, obviously.
Yeah.
It's just really great to like be able to, because I'm clamoring for that sequel. I'm sure it'll probably only be on PC and Xbox because of the deal they made. But whatever, I'll buy it for PC. Whatever.
Yeah. Now, can you give like a quick summary of the story so far? Like,
sure.
Does it take place after the game, or is it during the?
Yeah, I mean, I can give you. It's not super complicated. There's a lot of, you know, intrigue and stuff, but basically, this heiress to a fortune is asking you to investigate her mother's death at the hands of Spacer's Choice. You have to go to Gorgon, which is this asteroid that's nearly abandoned after a failed experiment from Spacer's Choice. And you have to go see what happened. Now, as of yet, I don't know what happened, but I can only guess that the corporation was completely right and did nothing wrong, obviously. And so that's how things work in Outer Worlds, obviously.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm basically investigating on Gorgon. I'm basically like a private eye out of the serials or something. That's kind of how they're framing it. They're making it seem like you're kind of like this roguish freelancer who's like, you know, it's a bit of a noir theme, honestly, like
cool.
like an Outer Worlds take on noir. There's no black and white or anything, although that'd be awesome if they end up doing it, but I don't think they will. Yeah, I do too.
I'm a sucker for noir stuff.
I am as well. I really want to go on like a movie marathon for noir. I love that whole genre.
Sure. And so what are the any new guns, or like what are the weapons like? Are you...
I did get a pickaxe that has a like destructible trait or something. I can't quite remember. My eyes kind of glaze over at those menus. That was another kind of weak point of the game, is I think the menus are a little cumbersome. They could have been, feel like they could have been streamlined a little more.
Yeah.
But so I didn't completely pay attention, but I got this new pickaxe that's a little better than my candy cane scythe that did like certain kind of damage.
Yeah, and what are the enemies like? Have you found anything yet? Or
no, I like I said, I've barely fired around in the first 90 minutes, but it's also a lot of setting up. I also like scoured everywhere for everything. So you know, I found a hidden card key, and then I went to that door, and I didn't have to do any of that. But you know, like I said, I'm a sucker for just doing as much as possible in RPGs, or these kinds of action RPGs, limited RPGs, not JRPGs necessarily, but yeah.
Did it add anything new to the game? Did it change any? Did it change the UI, the controls, anything like that?
Thank you. I forgot to mention this. Yeah, same old load times that are kind of a little bit too much. I just kind of look at my phone. I'm like, what's going on in Discord while this loading screen goes? It's not horrendous or anything. I've seen worse, but it's not great either. The graphics are the same, but they're still pretty. Voice acting is the same. Writings, it's, you know, I've seen some titles. Don't get too alarmed, James, but I've seen some titles of reviews, and a lot of them have said like, you know, more of the same. And you know, it's pretty obvious that they haven't really it's just like as if you just picked up where you were, and they haven't done much. But I don't care. I mean,
Yeah.
I love Outer Worlds, so that's not a problem for me.
Does it
That's-
run? Does it run smooth and everything? Is there any bugs or
I
frame
had a
rate
little bit of
problems?
slowdown for like a minute or two, weirdly, while I was on Gorgon, but it wasn't anything tremendous, and it was gone after like like 10 seconds or something. It was weird,
Okay.
but yeah, I figure it was just because I don't know, I unpaused the game and the
Okay.
game had to buffer the map.
And you're playing on the PlayStation 4 version, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because I have the PlayStation 4 version on disc, but like I don't have my save anymore. So even if I wanted to go back and play it, I
Yeah.
can't. I can't play the DLC because I usually delete my saves after I beat a game. You know what I mean? So,
I delete the software, but I keep the saves just in case I ever want to go back to it.
yeah, I didn't.
Saves don't really take up any space in your hardware,
Yeah,
so
so then
I
they're
just
just yeah. I feel like I wasn't gonna go back to it, but yeah.
Yeah.
But so I'm just gonna
I
go
think
through
this
you.
DLC is really good so far.
Cool.
I took Parvati and Felix with me because Felix is very excited because this feels like a serial to him. So I wanted him to experience it. I get very into the characters' heads. I'm like, who would be interested in this quest? Like, who as a character would really let? And I'm like, obviously Felix wants to go. He loves this shit. This is what he lives for. And then Parvati, because I mean, I have to have Parvati. If I don't have Parvati, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I feel bad for Sam because I never used him in the main quest. I just kind of found him bland. I get that he's a robot and that's his whole thing. I like
Yeah.
talking to him, but I don't like actually
Yeah.
rolling out with him.
Mhm.
So what's the like the worlds and the environment? Like how many worlds can you go to? Is there just one world?
It's
Is
just
it
one. Well, I mean, there are multiple places within that one. Well,
okay?
just for right now, just two. But it's just Gorgon. I mean, it's just an asteroid. There seems to be a big sort of open. I don't know yet, but so don't quote me on this or anything. But there seems to be a big open wild area where you can fight marauders and canids and test subjects. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. So that's probably going to be a new enemy.
I got you.
And then there's a main facility, and then there's like a bar that I've already been to, and I'm just going through right now, making sure I don't miss any side quests or anything. So just kind of scouring through it while I'm playing Tony Hawk because I figure this is not going to take me too long. Tony Hawk has been brutal to go through. It's a very fun game, but yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. You have anything more to add about it, or?
yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I've already laughed pretty hard a couple times, which is great. I'm just glad to be playing that game again because honestly, it was in my top 5 games of the year last year, and so I'm really excited to play it again. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on to Call of Duty Black Ops: The Cold War. They revealed the multiplayer. James, I'll let you handle this one because obviously we're not Call of Duty fans as much as you are. So
Sure. I mean,
I did look it up though. I watched it.
they did reveal they revealed quite a lot, and a lot of it was quite surprising. So of course it was all multiplayer stuff. But I think the most surprising thing for me at least was the fact that it's all sort of it feels more connected to Modern Warfare than it maybe does to Treyarch's other games.
Yeah.
And last year's Modern Warfare. So it looks very much sort of the same in terms of that. I mean, it's probably like a similar engine, I think.
Yeah.
So it looks like it plays very much the same. And I think they were talking a lot about sort of connecting the game to Warzone, which is obviously Modern Warfare's battle royale. And I'm not really sure what they were saying with that exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it looked a lot of fun. I don't know how much you guys watched of it at all. Let's say.
Well, I did notice like you can ride like ride on rails now and drive boats around on one of the levels. I think
the zip lines on the boats.
I think that was Armada. And then I know there's a couple new modes, like there's a VIP escort. Can you talk about that?
The VIP, yeah, they didn't go into I wasn't entirely sure about much of that. I think that was funnily enough about the VIP mode.
I got it in front of me. All right, it says.
You got it in front of you. Right.
Yeah. One player on the attacking team spawns as a VIP with only a pistol, a smoke grenade, a UAV, and the ability to revive teammates. and all the other teammates spawn with their usual custom loadouts. The VIP's team must help escort them to a chopper extraction point, fighting back the other team as it tries to prevent a successful extraction. That sounds pretty fun. You basically
I do think,
special guy you have to protect.
yeah, I do think that'll be a lot of fun because I've done that a few times with some friends, just in like Modern Warfare's multiplayer, just sort of doing that of our own on our own. And so it's nice that they're making that sort of thing into its own game mode because I think that will be a lot of fun.
Yes, for sure. And they also,
but one thing I'm excited for is like the weapons specifically because I mean just in general I'm a big fan of like war games that handle this time period, but also Treyarch has always had really good weapon design, just from the sound design and stuff like that. Like they always have very satisfying weapons to use.
They're very old school.
And
the guns.
Yeah. But this seems to be the same story.
Yeah.
So I think at the very least the gunplay will probably be a lot of fun. But I do, like you said, with like the zip lines and stuff, I do think the map design as well will be sort of a bit different. It looks like.
Yeah.
With like the two boats and a lot of them sort of incorporating vehicles a lot more.
For sure.
Yeah.
There's also a combined arms mode, which is a 12v12 category of modes. Which is like it says there's a large scale domination mode.
Right.
And you can use all different vehicles, a variety of vehicles like tanks, snowmobiles, helicopters, and speedboats. That's pretty new from the Call of Duty multiplayer. They never really had that before, right?
Yeah, definitely. It is surprising that they're sort of incorporating vehicles a lot more into this one. I think that was definitely the most surprising thing out of anything.
Yeah, and there's also a new 40-player category, like a new mode called Fire Team, where there's 10 teams of 4, and the first Fire Team mode revealed was Dirty Bomb, where players must collect nuclear materials and quickly escape radiation that leaks across the map. That sounds pretty interesting.
That was a bit of a weird one for me. I was a bit like, that's a bit of a weird thing to gamify, you know? But I guess, I mean, it's Call of Duty. You can't really be surprised at this point. But I didn't really pick up much of what that mode was about. But yeah, I don't know.
I need to see more of that one.
There
was also another big change was you can create a class, and there was a score streak. Like they changed the score streak system. Can you talk anything about that one?
The score. I didn't look into this very much, but I've heard. Correct me if I'm wrong. That score streaks are back, and they're doing a sort of. They don't reset when you die, or something like that. Is that right? Do you know?
No, I'm not sure on that one. But
okay. Well, either way, I'm always a big fan of score streaks because I'm not always very good at the game, so those are helpful for me personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. But one thing, I've got the trailer up here in front of me, and I've just gotten to this bit that I've just remembered about. There was a tease at the end of the multiplayer reveal trailer for zombies, and it looks there isn't much here, but you've got the monkey bomb, and it looks very much like, I mean, very dark. You can't really see much, but it looks a lot closer to Black Ops 1 Zombies, which I suppose is to be expected because it's a sequel to that game.
Yeah.
But it looks a lot like that, and I think, personally for me, Black Ops 1 had the best zombies. I think it was all downhill after that one for me. So that's pretty exciting.
In terms of the score streak, it says, I'm going off screenrant.com, but they're saying they changed the scoring in that score earned towards activating a streak is no longer lost when you die. And streaks also require more score to be activated than in previous games, but there is a new score multiplayer system that helps you earn the score faster. When a player kills more than one player in a single life, each new kill earns a significant bonus score. And then score streaks now start a cooldown timer after being used, which like prevents spam usage of powerful streaks. So that
seems kind of like a complicated workaround to try and level the effects of them not resetting when you die. But I think I would not be surprised if they get to a point where, people are playing with this disco streak system and it's just too powerful, so they end up having to nerf it.
Yeah.
Because just the fact that they don't reset when you die is still such a big deal. Like, because then you don't have to worry about, you can just go around playing the objective and maybe get a few kills here and there, and by the end of the game, there's still a good chance that you'll have a pretty powerful kill streak. So
yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, and another new addition is you can now slide. They brought that back. Apparently, you can slide in this game.
Yeah. Could you not slide in the last games? I don't remember.
It says in the article, it says it's returning, so I'm guessing it did. I wouldn't.
Right, I don't know, but I know during the stream they made a big deal about how the sliding is sort of supposed to feel more realistic now.
Yeah,
and that sort of thing.
Makes sense. Sure.
But yeah, that seems like a small detail. I don't know.
Yeah, and the next one is what you already mentioned, is Warzone, the integration with Warzone.
Yeah, I'm still not entirely sure how that's going to work.
Yeah, let me see. So apparently it says Warzone will be updated to contain Black Ops Cold War elements like weapons and locations, but will still remain a free-to-play standalone experience. A player's rank, cosmetic items, and updates from Modern Warfare's Warzone will seamlessly function with Black Ops Warzone. Also, the game will continue to be playable via crossplay with other consoles. Yep, and yeah, okay, so it's cross save and cross progress.
Yeah.
So.
Honestly, like a lot of this sort of, I don't know, like I guess we'll find out once the game comes out. Yeah. But the fact that they've only been developing it for 2 years, and it's like Treyarch's taken over, and there's been some rocky development and stuff. There's a good chance that a lot of the game here is sort of subpar. It's maybe not that great, and maybe sort of bare bones and that sort of thing. So I'd maybe they've sort of tempered their ambitions a bit, but who knows?
Do you think that's because of the pandemic, or would you expect that anyway?
I expect that anyway, but I can't imagine that's helped at all. I mean, because like I said, they would have only been developing this for 2 years. I suppose Sledgehammer would have been developing it a year before Black Ops 4's launch, after their last game, but then they got taken off it. So who knows, really? I mean, it seems like a rocky development either way, based on what we've heard.
Yeah. I mean, so do you plan on getting it day one, or are you gonna wait?
Probably. I mean, yeah, it looks good. I mean,
yeah.
Bottom line.
The funny thing about Call of Duty is I never buy it myself. Like usually, like someone will ask me, "Oh, do you want a game for Christmas or something?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I'll take Call of Duty," and then I just get it for Christmas. So I'll probably get it for the PS5, and then play it on Christmas Day.
I always. For a lot of years, I say I'm not going to get it, but then I end up getting it at some point during the year, even if I don't get it at launch.
I'm like that with Madden. I always say, this is bullshit, and then I end up buying it. So.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much wraps that up. I think we hit on all the new features. It's coming out on PS4 and PS5 on November 13th. So that's I think the launch of the console is relatively gonna be around that area. So we'll get into that, but. Yeah.
So I wonder if it's going to launch on PlayStation 5 by the time the console launches, or if it'll be a few months later or not.
Yeah,
I mean, it's Call of Duty, so they usually make it sort of seamless like that, I suppose.
Yeah, it's probably just like the digital version is going to be automatic. Like as soon as PS5 comes out, it's going to have an option right away. Yeah. All right, so let's get into a scummy practice by 505 Games. What they did with the Control. So what happened was they People's Deluxe Edition got upgraded to the Ultimate Edition, which is the PS5 version of the game and the newer PC version of the game. But then the word started getting out and they shut that down completely. But the problem is that they literally said weeks or days or weeks before that they can't do that. They're not able to upgrade the game. I mean, they got caught in a lie. That's essentially what happened. Because not only are they making people rebuy a game, but they just straight up lied in people's faces.
What's interesting to me about the whole sort of next gen upgrade thing. Like, I honestly, no, I don't have much of an opinion on it, but I wouldn't have expected any sort of companies to offer a next gen upgrade for free from the get go. Like, I think that's probably like an expectation that's been set by CD Projekt, saying they're going to do it with Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
And so, and like now everyone else is expected to do it, which is like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But and sure, like they lied and everything. They said they couldn't do it. And they're only giving it away to people with the Ultimate Edition. But at the same time, I don't know.
You don't. Dory, what do you think?
Well, James had a stunning conclusion there.
Yeah, I was
really
like,
wondering where that was going. I mean, I feel like this is a situation that was bad, and now it's gone from bad to worse. Like classic, like, hey, here's a scummy practice, but sorry, we can't do it any other way. Whoops, we did it another way. Well, just kidding. We messed up. Like,
yeah.
I know it's not Remedy, but it really sucks to see like Remedy involved with like a publishing group. Sorry, I'm like twisted up around. But it sucks to see like Remedy having to be with a publisher who's like messing around like this.
Yeah,
just kind of sucks.
It's just very scummy. I can understand that like you shouldn't expect every company have to upgrade, but like, I mean, it's good for your consumer. It's good. It's good PR. There really isn't a real reason not to upgrade your game.
For sure.
Like
Control sold really well. I almost said sold like hotcakes again, but they sold really well. And IGN Game of the Year. I mean, it's not like they're hurting for cash right now.
Exactly.
There's just no reason to not do an upgrade. If you are gonna charge people, okay, like I guess, but like don't make it $40, $20 or something. I don't know really what it's worth. What's all the contents therein?
Yeah.
I know it involves some DLC and stuff, but like, yeah, like $20 for an upgrade or something. Like 10, $20, that seems reasonable, but like don't charge like nearly a full game.
Yeah, I mean, if you never played the game, which I haven't yet, I have the PS4 version. I'll get to it like within like probably by the time PS5 comes out, I'll have it beat. But if you never played the game before, it's not a big deal. You can just buy it. You know what I mean? But like I said, the big story here really is that they got caught lying. Because if they just said, I would respect them more if they just said outright, we want to make more money. And I would, you know what I mean? It's crabby, but I would have respected it. You know what I mean? Yeah. EA doesn't hide that, like, oh, we want your money. Like, so it is what it is, I guess. There's not really much to add to that, but yeah. It's just
I'm actually
worth highlight. Oh, sorry, James.
I'm actually pretty sure that's EA's slogan. We want your money.
We want your money.
Yeah. I just wanted to highlight this in particular because we had talked about this practice before, and this follow up to the story just makes it even worse. But I mean, I agree with James that especially if it's like a smaller, I would understand more if it was like a smaller indie studio or something, or like, if it even if it was like Obsidian who's had to like literally go fund some of their games or whatever, kickstart some of their games versus like Bethesda, or just take a prescient example. Like I would understand more for one than the other if they said, hey, it sucks, but we need at least a little bit of money to recoup this, so $10 to upgrade to the version. I would be like, all right, hey, reasonable.
Yeah, and I think the biggest sort of tragedy though of this situation is that it seems like it's a 505 Games decision.
Yeah,
but a lot of the PR is going to reflect on Remedy and Control and everything like that. So I think that's a shame because they probably don't have that much control over the situation. Ironically enough. Yeah.
No, but what makes it even worse is every big company like EA and Ubisoft are giving free upgrades. They're on their own right now, looking pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, that's the expectation at this point,
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, you kind of have to, otherwise you're digging yourself a hole, like we've seen.
Yep. So. All right. So let's move on to the next game. So Kena Bridge of Spirits. They're like the main story of Game Informer this month. What I did, I basically just took the pieces of Nibbles. Was it Nibble, right? I never said
sure.
I never said it out loud. I don't think I ever said it out loud. So. But anyway,
yeah.
I took pieces of what he wrote because he basically summarized the article. So I'm gonna read them all out. So first of all, it says it only takes 2 seconds to launch the PS5 OS. So it's like that. Like the SSD is scary good. And then it says more lush and dense environments. There are 100 rot, those little black creatures that you collect.
Yeah, I think wasn't it the fact that on the PS5 you can have all 100 rot on screen at the same time.
I was
You
right
can't do
about
that
to
on
say-
PS4,
yeah,
but you
you're
can do it on
I
PS5.
was looking at the PS5 and the
Yes.
PS4 differences, and I'm like, this is nothing. Like, nothing here is enticing me to get the PS5 version.
Yes. So yeah, PS5 can display them all. It utilizes the dual sense, so you can feel the bow in your hand, which we figured that. The photo mode might come. This is gonna hurt you, but it's gonna come later, so you're gonna have to wait for that.
Oh,
There it is.
Oh,
He's
no.
not picking it up day one.
It's not gonna be.
but the problem with that is that if it's not coming at launch, I'm going to play the game at launch, and I'm not going to go back to it just for photo mode. I mean, I might at some point, but maybe not. So I don't know.
Himself.
The game structure is wide linear, so there's like a hub connected with different regions. Pretty standard.
Yeah.
It's not gonna cost $60. I would imagine it's about 40. I would say it's 40. Yeah. Because you never see a game that's 50. You know what I mean? It's always 60 or 40 or 30.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They never do 50. It can be finished over a weekend, so I'm gonna imagine it's about 8 to 12 hours. Around.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair number. There is a harder difficulty setting. We'll see if you need to do it, because if you get a platinum in one playthrough, I'm not gonna play on the hardest
King
one.
Ninja Spirits. It's the Dark Souls of Pikmin
That's
games.
just how- yeah.
The headlines.
Pikmin was hard, so if you didn't, I mean, I played it when I was like 6 though, or whatever it was. I remember it being hard. All right, but the big story also is that it got delayed. It's no longer a launch title. It's gonna be in the quarter 1, which means January to April. So I would, if I were to guess, I would say probably January or February.
Yeah.
Because I think, like I said, I think Ratchet and Clank is going to be about March or April. But I think this is a good time to put like in January or February.
Yeah, probably February.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Depending on maybe where you guys gauge the interest for this game, it might be a big hit to the launch lineup.
I think a lot of people are hyped for it.
Yeah, it's a moderate hit. I wouldn't say it's a huge.
It's not
blow.
Spider-Man, but
Yeah, it's not the end of the world by any means, but I definitely think it hurts. Yeah,
this does hurt. Yeah, this does hurt because I mean, what else is there besides Miles Morales that we know of? I mean, the PS5 event's on Wednesday, but like as we'll get into, but
yeah, I mean,
we don't
as a
know.
launch titles, I don't know. It's mostly apart from Miles Morales. I think it's mostly third-party stuff. I can't think of any other first-party.
Which is, it's expected. That's pretty common. I mean,
Yeah.
you get your FIFA, your Madden, NBA 2K. You're gonna get your Call of Duty.
Your knack, yeah.
Yeah.
You get your action base.
Your Watch Dogs. I'm imagining. All right.
Sure.
It's disappointing.
Yeah,
It's disappointing to me, but it's not the.
It's
end of the
a
world.
shame for sure, but like if it leads to a better game, then
Yeah.
it's good for sure.
I never have
But,
issues with delays. I never have issues.
The DualSense thing though with the bow, I think that's a big selling point for me. I think that's a big reason. That'll be the main reason I'll probably get on PS5 over PS4. Sorry about that, but yeah. So yeah, because I'm really excited for those features.
Are you gonna have a PS5 by then, or
Most likely, if I can get my hands on one, because it's
Okay.
probably going to be pretty limited at launch. But
yeah? Because
yeah, hopefully.
once the PS5 comes out, I'm not even gonna touch any PS4 version of a game with a 10-foot pole. I'm only gonna get the PS5 version of it. So
Wow.
I feel like you have to really like. There's the big selling point of that game is gonna probably be the DualSense, like you said. So it's gonna be a big. I think you have to.
I'll probably be getting the PS4 version myself. I probably still won't have a PS5 by then.
Which is
but
fine. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm
Yeah.
just saying for my personal self what
Yeah.
what I'll probably be doing.
Which is understandable because obviously you should know it really isn't wise to buy a console like day one, but
Yeah.
But like I'm not. I don't want to wait. So.
Yeah, I know.
I get it.
All right, so
You're not wise.
no, not when it comes to that. Not when it comes to buying stuff.
says X, do X if you are not wise. He does not he does not do that.
No.
Therefore, he is not wise. Whatever. Trying to make a syllogism there.
Yeah, I always tell people like always wait to never buy a game day one, and then I end up buying the game day one. So
Yeah.
So anyway, let's move on to the Ubisoft Forward, which is like there's like their little show. It was like I would say it's about a half hour, 40 minutes long. They hit on several games. I'm not gonna hit on every single one, so we're just gonna hit on the main hitters. So we're gonna start with Immortals Fenyx Rising, which used to be called Gods and Monsters. Was it Gods? It was like,
Which was a better title. They should have kept Gods and Monsters.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it. Now this game looks just like Breath of the Wild. I mean, I know we say that a lot, but like,
yeah,
it does. It really.
I mean, yeah, it definitely does. But I think looking at it more now, you can see the bones of the more recent Assassin's Creed games because obviously, it's from Ubisoft Quebec, the studio behind Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
No,
so and you can definitely see those bones in there, especially considering that it's like ancient Greece.
No, this is definitely an Assassin's Creed game with a Breath of the Wild coat or mod.
Yeah. For sure.
See, the only thing I didn't care for a lot was the character models. Kind of look like the Xbox avatars. They have like that cartoony look.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
With the big eyes and the chunky cheeks, like you know what I'm talking about.
Definitely.
They look just like the Xbox avatars. That's what the first thing I said when I saw it. Which is it's not a bad thing, but a lot of Xbox games look like that. So I was like, in my head, I was thinking, wow, this would be an Xbox exclusive. If you didn't tell me it was Ubisoft, I would have thought this was a first party Xbox game. But I don't know how I feel about the combat because they showed combat after the show. It looked pretty good, but I wasn't like blown away. But what fascinates me more is just that I love Greek mythology and like you can do a lot of cool like side bosses and explore the world and you can fly around. It kind of reminds me of Kid Icarus. You guys ever you know what I'm talking about?
Right, I've never played that. But...
Game by game.
You know the character pit. Yeah, like. Yep. That's what it reminded me because you can fly around and stuff, so that's pretty cool. So I'm interested in exploring the world more than anything.
Yeah,
combat didn't like wow me, but
what I'm sort of interested in is they seem to be taking a humorous approach to the writing. They're injecting a lot of humor in there, and I think based on what they showed, I think that they might just pull that off. I think it might be quite a funny game. And if it is, if they do manage that, because humor can be tricky, but if they do manage that. I think that will be a big selling point.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope they make fun of their name change. That would be hilarious.
I hope we get to kill the gods like Kratos, like it's God of War, like a kiddie version of God of War. And like,
you just look at the camera. What am I, Kratos or something?
I mean, can we talk about the title for a second though? Because like any title where I have to look up the spelling of it is immediately a bad title. But Immortals Fenyx Rising is. I'm pretty sure it's universally agreed upon that is a far worse title than Gods and Monsters. Yeah. Gods and Monsters was a fine, and they said that they changed it because they think Immortals Fenyx Rising fits the game better or something like that. But like based on what they showed, Gods and Monsters seems to fit perfectly well.
Yeah, like what does it even mean? Like Fenyx Rising? Like was there a phoenix in the game? Did she rise from the ashes?
Maybe you'll have to play the game to find out. Oh, you play as Phoenix though. I think you play as Phoenix, don't you? That's the character's name.
That's the character's name. I mean that makes sense, but you know, like there's got to be a reason why, like with the name, like what their
title. When I heard Gods and Monsters, I was like, oh, that sounds like a really rad D&D.
Yeah, that sounds
game.
A lot better. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah. I don't like the title Immortals. Like, well, actually, I like Immortals better than Fenyx Rising. Like the Fenyx Rising parts were just. It sounds like an old PS1 title.
It is. It's like
old platformer.
It's a collection of very sort of bland names.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of old PS1 platformer game where they always do like an edgy like animal character in the front cover, and they always do something rising. You know, something.
Yeah.
Strikes back. You know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Vengeance. As much as I like that game.
Yeah. All right, so let's get.
That's a pretty rad title, to be honest. I like Metal Gear Rising. That's good.
Yeah, that's a good title. All right, so let's get into the next game. The next game was Prince of Persia Remake. This ruined the show.
Fan?
This ruined the show for me. This game
really?
looks legitimately worse than the original game.
Oh,
Like it's almost
that
as
is scathing.
bad. It looks like a 2006 PS3 game. It looks like a launch PS3 game.
I didn't think it looked that bad.
I swear to God, the remaster of the original games look better than this game. I do think that.
I mean,
but
I think
I get that it's a small studio and it's an Indian. They
Mhm.
outsourced it to an Indian developer and all that.
they didn't outsource it. It's
seems like they did.
Ubisoft. It's a Ubisoft studio, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're like a new studio. These people are like I don't want to say amateur, but they're new to the scene.
Sure, new to like heading a project.
My problem is the character models. Like you look in the background, it was like the same NPC copy and pasted 3 times. There was this guy with a turban on, and he was the same character 3 times. The character models just look ugly. Now, the gameplay might be fun because Prince of Persia, the gameplay is really fun. Because the wall running and reversing time and things like that, that's really fun. So I think the gameplay can save it. But God, those character models, it's not a PS5 game, it's a PS4 game. But
when is it coming out?
Comes out January 21st.
Okay, they have a little bit of time to spruce it up, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I think the trailer might have been an older build as well, because I know that a website, I can't remember, it might have been PC Gamer, I'm not sure, had a screenshot from an article that they did on the game, where the lighting was changed in a scene from the trailer, and it looked a lot better.
Yeah.
So I mean, that might have been an old build in the trailer, but I think,
Hopefully.
I mean, I don't have much to say on the game because I haven't played it, but I mean, I think the graphics. I agree with you about the graphics. Character models look maybe a little shoddy, but
a mobile game.
I honestly, what surprised me more than anything was the fact that they're going for the full-on remake treatment.
Yeah,
you know, getting the voice actors back in and
getting Yuri Lowenthal back.
Yeah, Yuri Lowenthal. And getting them to redo it in motion capture.
Yeah,
and like I didn't think Prince of Persia had that kind of pull.
Oh,
you know?
It does. The first game is beloved.
Yeah,
sure.
Right.
And the sequels not as much, but they're still pretty well loved. But yeah, I mean, there's a whole movie too with Jake Gyllenhaal and everything. So it's not a huge. I wouldn't say it's a franchise, but it's like B franchise. I think it's like the next tier.
I was growing up, so
yeah. Like it was one of the big games on the Xbox and the PS2. Yep. But like, you do the full remake trailer, and then the character models look like that. Like I know Ubisoft, I know their engine's not that great. Like a lot of Ubisoft games don't look great, honestly. Like the gameplay can be fun, but the character models and the game and the graphics don't look that great. It's like the opposite of EA. Like EA's games have the Frostbite engine, and they always look great, even if the game is not that great. But they always look great. Ubisoft games they don't have the best engine, in my opinion. Like their games are just never the prettiest looking games.
The character models could definitely look better, but I think I do appreciate the fact that they're going for a unique style instead of just trying to make it as realistic as possible. You know,
the problem isn't even the art style. It's just not good art. It's just not good models. That's not, because the original game is not even, and it wasn't trying to go realistic either. It was cartoony. Like they're going for the same design. It's just the way they look. You know what I mean? Like look at Kena. Kena looks like a next gen game and it has a cartoony look, but it still looks next gen. You know what I mean? That's the problem with that.
I think a lot of it's in the lighting as well, for sure.
Yeah, in the lighting, yes.
So
it's too dark.
Who knows?
The lighting adds 10 pounds. What can I say?
Yeah. Now and I don't want to keep shit on this game, but like the reaction has been extremely negative, extremely. So this game is going to be fighting a lot of negative
uphill. Yeah.
It's gonna be an uphill battle for it. Yeah. All right, so let's get into something more positive, which got me very excited, which is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the complete edition. If I remember correctly, you can't play this game anymore on the PS3 or something. They took it off the store.
Yeah, they pulled it from all stores, probably due to licensing or something like that. And people have been demanding it come back.
Oh, the game is so good.
They were worried that gamers would start treating women better or something if they actually experienced the story, but I'm not sure. Can't confirm.
I don't remember the reason, but this is one of the best beat 'em up games. Like if all of us got this game, this would be a great game to play together.
Yeah,
it's so creative. You can do,
and I've read the original comic too, and I love the comic.
The art style in this game is amazing. The way that everything's very fluid. It's so fun to play. Yeah, it's definitely one of the best beat 'em ups. The funny thing is I think emulated version of it just came out on PC like this week, which is kind of a weird coincidence. It just got not. I mean, it didn't just come out, but it just added multiplayer to an emulator. So it's kind of weird timing that came out at the same time. That's pretty much all I really have to say about that. I'm excited about it. It's gonna be like $15-20, so it's not gonna be a full price game or anything like that. So it comes out in the holiday of 2020. So that probably means November, or I would know probably December. I would say it's always December is a good month for indie games to come out. I think because all the big hitters are in November. All right.
Yeah.
So let's get into Watch Dogs Legion. I'm actually excited about this game. I did not like the first Watch Dogs, but the second game I kind of liked it, but not so much. But it was okay game. But this one looks really intriguing because you can play as multiple people. Like, I'm really interested how they handle this because you can play as like 1,000 like NPCs.
Yeah. Well, yeah. One detail they sort of revealed about it was that we didn't know before was the fact that they have like special pre-made NPCs that have unique abilities and that sort of thing. They're like, I suppose the NPC equivalent of like an exotic in Destiny or something like that. Which seems I like that sort of. There's an elusive set of characters that you can go and hunt down. Other than that, I don't know what else did they show really. Apart from Aiden Pierce.
They did a weird rap video. People thought that was weird. They started rapping in the middle of the show. It just stopped what it was doing. It was like, hey, here's a rap song for like 30 seconds. And it was like British rap.
Oh, with Stormzy, yeah.
It was a British rap.
Yeah, with Stormzy.
I mean, obviously it's in London, but the game is very British. Like, it's very British. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. But I think...
do you know what's...
Go ahead.
Sorry, it's interesting though, with the music. The guy was talking about like, oh, we asked around London for, which band sort of, or which artist best represents the sort of, fighting back against the power and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And they came to the conclusion that it was Stormzy. And maybe my taste in music is a little outdated, but I would have gone with something in the punk genre, like the Clash or the Jam or something like that.
Yeah, the Clash, Sex Pistols, or something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I would have
Sex Pistols, because that guy's now a Trump supporter. Not to get political, but
okay, maybe not then. But I mean, yeah, maybe that's just my taste in music being very outdated. But
I guess they're trying to go for more of a modern take, I guess. Because
probably
it's in the future, I think, right?
They must be because of all the technology and DedSec and everything like that.
Now, do you have any idea like what kind of character you want to play as? Like I'm interested in being like a hitman or a spy kind of character.
I mean, we all want to play as the granny, right?
Yeah, but like I don't know, it might be cooler like watching it than actually playing as one. You know what I mean?
So
maybe. Yeah,
I discovered very quickly reading Stormzy's Wikipedia why they picked him. So he's a big candidate. He's a big supporter of the Labour Party in Britain, and he had a audience help him chant "fuck the government" and "fuck Boris." So yeah.
Right. Okay.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I suppose he stands for probably a lot of the same things as those bands that I mentioned, but he's obviously a lot more relevant now. So that's makes a lot of sense.
I mean, you would know more than us. Like, is he pretty popular? Like,
I mean, I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of that kind of music.
You don't see him on the TV or nothing.
He's a big name. Yeah, I've heard of him around a few times.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm up to date with like British like artists, but I wasn't familiar with him.
I mean, all the best music comes out of Britain. Let's be honest.
Yeah, let's not get crazy. No. A lot of my favorite bands are British for sure.
That's right.
All right, so yeah, like the graphics don't look amazing, obviously, because like I said, Ubisoft's engine is not that great in my opinion. But
yeah, they've never been known for that sort of thing.
But the gameplay is fun, so it looks a lot of fun. So
it looks fun.
They haven't confirmed that it's coming to PS5, but obviously it's only because they don't know that we don't have the release date for the console yet. It's definitely coming to Xbox Series X.
Didn't they say it was going to be a launch title for next gen consoles?
It probably will be, but it's not.
I do think they said that. I'll double check though.
No worries. I imagine it is because they're just waiting for PS5 to say the release date. Because obviously, if they say the release date now, they spoil the PS5 release date. You know, because it's gonna be a launch title. So
yeah,
all we know, it's coming out October 29th on PS4. I don't know if I'll wait. I don't know. Maybe I'll get it on PS4 and just play it before the PS5 comes out, or maybe I should wait. I don't know. I don't know if that game's really gonna like. Does that game really need to be next gen? Probably not.
Maybe not. Yeah, I mean, it'll probably run better with more FPS and so and so.
Yeah, it depends what games come out around that time.
Yeah,
I might get.
But
go ahead.
Yes, PlayStation 4, Stadia, and PC on October 29th, and on the next generation of Xbox systems on November 10th. So presumably they will do the same for PlayStation 5. I can't imagine them not doing that.
Of course, like I said, I think they just haven't said it because if they did, it would spoil the PS5 release date.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why. All right, so let's get.
So maybe we can. Yeah. Maybe we can expect that on Wednesday.
Yeah, I do, but like I said, I might get it on the PS4 just because it seems like the 29th of October seems like a good time to play it because there's nothing really around that I can think of right now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into the next game, which is Riders Republic. I don't know about this is not really my kind of game. I mean, I'm a big sports guy, but I mean, I'm not really about the DMX kind of thing.
Sure. What was interesting for this for me with this one was I saw the trailer come on and I thought to myself, oh my god, they're making Steep 2.
Mm-hmm.
Which obviously it didn't end up being that, but it does look like there's a lot of Steep in there. It kind of feels like they said, okay, let's give Steep another try, but let's call it something else this time.
Yeah.
But like it's like Steep, but with more modes of transport and with not snow this time.
Yeah. I mean, what is Ubisoft's obsession with giving guys masks that have the X for the eyes?
Yeah,
like
I definitely noticed that. I noticed that as well. I don't know, like they've got like what 10 fucking games with that sort of aesthetic in it now.
It feels like
it's ridiculous.
I feel like they're making the same game and they're just like, let's just put bikes in there and add a hill. They will never know.
Yeah,
it's actually.
I mean, it might.
What a hill.
I think it's probably. There was obviously the whole thing with the controversy with Ubisoft and all those guys that got fired for sexual harassment and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was the one guy, I can't remember his name, but there used to be one guy who was sort of in charge of all the games and like deciding what they were going to be and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So I think that aesthetical choice probably comes down to the fact that guy really liked that sort of thing. So I mean, now that they're gone, sort of obviously a great thing that they're gone because you don't want people who are accused of sexual harassment and that sort of thing in your company. But a side effect of that is that maybe we'll get more varied games out of Ubisoft now.
Yeah, hopefully. Cause I do think Ubisoft's starting to get too similar with other games. Like way too similar for me personally. But I'm not a huge Ubisoft fan. I never have been. In terms of go ahead.
I just wanted to. I think we should touch on this just a little bit quickly.
Yeah.
Just the fact that like it was a little disappointing to see that they just released a sort of video. They did release a video addressing all the sexual harassment allegations and the fact that they fired all them people.
Yeah.
But they didn't put it in the live stream. They just released it on Twitter a couple of hours before.
Yeah.
Which was a little disappointing.
Only reason why I didn't mention is only because we probably all agree that it was a shitty move to do. Because there's no reason why you can't. I think they said because of time constraints. I'm like, it's your own show.
Yes, exactly.
Like, and it was like an hour long. Like,
yeah,
I don't.
They totally had time to, and they just chose not to because they didn't want it. They said that they did say that they would stitch it together later in the VOD or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I checked. I did check the VOD after the event was over, and it wasn't in there. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's there now. I don't know, but it seems like they just sort of said that to get people off their backs.
Yeah.
So but it's a shame. It's a disappointment for sure.
No problem. Yeah. I mean, we gotta start moving on. So let's get into Roller Champions. I watched the
Yeah.
gameplay of it. Like, it came on after the show. They played it on for what was like 15 minutes. I had it on
Yeah.
the background. So tell me about it. Like, they caught your what caught your eye?
Well, I like that the one thing I like about Ubisoft is they sort of invest in these sort of different games like this. It feels a lot like Rocket League, but it feels a lot more unique than that. So you're there's like an oval track that you're going around, and you're on roller skates, and you basically you can ride around the track to score points, and you can throw the ball that you're holding through a goal to score points as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, ride up the walls and that sort of thing. And they don't seem to be giving like a lot of attention to the game.
Yeah.
But I do think it looks a lot fun. It looks like it's going to be that kind of Rocket League sort of thing,
Yeah.
but it's its own unique thing. It's not copying Rocket League in any kind of way.
It seemed very familiar. I was like, have I seen this game before? Why does it seem so familiar? I think they had it at E3 or something like 2 years ago.
Yeah, they revealed it at E3.
Yeah.
But they haven't. I don't think they've said anything about it since then.
Yeah.
And so I've always been,
Yeah, I don't know
because
why
it immediately caught my eye at E3. And I was always wondering, why have they not shown more of this? Because this is one of their more unique games,
right?
And one of the more interesting games for sure.
Like, where's the advertising for this at all? Like, I've totally forgot about it. Like, I don't know
definitely,
why.
and like I really like the whole sort of aesthetical style that it has going on. It's very sort of skatery, It's got that vibe, which would make sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But any kind of like weird sports games that aren't real sports.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in.
Yeah,
sure.
You like the more arcadey stuff.
Yeah,
it seems like. Yeah.
So maybe there's not that much to say, but I think there was a release date. I didn't double check that.
It said.
I think
I looked it up. It's early 2020. So it doesn't have a date
early
yet.
2020. Yeah,
so that's
quite soon.
Quarter one, I would say.
Yeah, that's quite soon. So I'm quite happy with that.
This seems like if I had to guess, I would say January. This seems like a January game, I would think.
And I think this will be one of the mid-range sort of price-wise games as well.
I agree.
I can't imagine them sticking a £50 price tag on this.
Yeah, $30 seems like a good price for that, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, but that's all there is really to say about it. But it looks fantastic.
I'm gonna check it out if it gets good reviews and everything. Unless it sucks, but like if it gets good reviews and everything, I'll probably get it. It looks like a lot of fun. All right, so the final topic of the show is the PS5 showcase on Wednesday. Well, originally the topic was going to be, what do you think the price is going to be? So I'm going to combine those two together. Because I'm assuming we're going to get the price on Wednesday. If we don't get the price on Wednesday, there's going to be a riot. Like, people are going to burn down.
I mean, they have to. And I imagine, because I think Xbox had their sort of conference. They had their reveal for their price scheduled for this week coming up.
The whole conference got leaked online. The whole thing.
Yeah, I know. I watched it. It was a bit boring, to be honest. It was just them having a staged interview.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's interesting, obviously, that they both had them. They both sort of came to the realization that the game of chicken was coming a bit too close.
Yeah.
So I guess they were both planning on revealing it now. But it'll be interesting. I wonder if sort of Sony will have navigated their pricing strategy around the leaked info about the Xbox.
Yeah.
Well, I could see them doing that for sure.
It's a really short time frame for a huge corporation like Sony to maneuver around, I feel like.
But they probably had... Well, they were probably ready for it.
Well, the rumor's been for a while that they were going to reveal something in mid-September. Like, that's been like the people. I've been hearing that rumor a lot. Like, that mid-September was going to be when PS5 had their event. So I think it lines up. I think PS5 and the Xbox were supposed to be announced at the same week. Since they got leaked, obviously the Xbox had to jump on it earlier. But I'm curious how much the Xbox's prices affect PlayStation. I don't know, like if they're like struggling. Like, I don't know if they're like panicking right now. I doubt if they're panicking, but I'm wondering like what they're doing. Like, oh my god, do we have to do this now, or are we just gonna stick with our price that we had? Now, in my opinion, I don't think it was ever gonna be $600 ever, because it cost $450 to make, and the Xbox was more expensive and it's more powerful, so I can't see it being more than $500. Anyone that thinks PS5 is gonna be more than $500 is you're probably wrong. But that also be a mistake on Sony's part, a huge mistake.
Uh-huh.
If you have a 1S that's $300 and your PS5 is $500, if the digital is $400, that's different. But if it's $500, if it's $600 for the PS5 and the $500 for the digital version, they're in trouble. Now they'll still win the console sales, but in the America and the UK, Xbox will do a lot better. I don't want to do a lot better, but it'd be very equal. It'd be a tight race if they that price.
I think they're going to match Xbox's price for the Series X. I don't think the fact that the all digital version of the PlayStation 5 is sort of the same hardware as the disc version, just without a disc drive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they can even get close to matching the Series S price because it's not a competing product. So I don't think they're going to even try because they'd lose. But I think they're just going to match for the regular PlayStation 5. They'll match the Series X. We did actually. I put up a poll on Twitter, asking people what they thought the price was going to be a couple days ago. 34% said they thought it was going to be $400. 53% said they thought it was going to be $500, and 13% said they thought it was going to be $600.
Wow. The safest bet is that the regular version is going to be $500 and the digital version is going to be $400. You can't make the digital version $50 less because $50 is not a good number. It's not appealing to people. People are going to pay $50 to get the CD drive.
Yeah.
You gotta entice people more than that to get the digital version. Now, the perfect scenario for Sony, unless they're losing a lot of money on doing this, they're gonna lose money anyway. But if the PS5 is $450 and the digital version is $350 because it's $100 less, $350 for the digital version of the PS5 would be game over for Xbox. Like, because for $50 more you get the PS5, which is the same version of their regular version. And you would basically checkmate Xbox because they can't brag about $300 anymore, and they can't. And then you for $150 less, you're getting a.
I don't think there's any way that they go that cheap because they would be losing so much money.
Yeah, the safest bet is $400 for the digital version. I think $400 is a good price for the digital. Anything more than that though, no, it's a mistake.
I wouldn't be amazed if it was $400, but I think it'll be $450 and $500 for the.
I just don't think $50 is an appealing number.
Because all you're losing in the digital one is the disc drive, right? And that's not worth that much.
Yeah, but like I said, if you want to really entice people to get the digital version, which I think Sony does want to do that, you got to make it more than $50 because $50, even I would pay $50 to get the CD drive. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, my thing is, I don't think that they are that interested in what version people get as long as they get one of them, because I mean I know they get more money from people buying games digitally because it's their storefront and they don't have to give a cut to the middleman. But at the same time, I think that I think as long as people have got the console and they're in the ecosystem, I think they're happy with that.
I mean, in terms of PlayStation fans, it really is a non-story only because... Well, not necessarily non-story, but it's not a big deal because we're going to buy it anyway. Unless it's like $900 or something, but obviously it's not going to be that. But like, what we're thinking of is the casual fans, the mom and dads that go to the store in the holiday season and buy their kid a console or something. What looks appealing? Is it $300
if I can...
Or...
Yeah, if I can go on a small tangent really quick, actually, you just made me remember something. I was saying, specifically with the Xbox, I mean, PlayStation won't have this problem, but I feel bad for all them kids who are going to ask their parents for an Xbox Series X for Christmas and end up with a Series S instead. That's going to be a shame.
Yeah, do you think
Grandma's going to be so confused and she's going to think that you said Xbox Series S and you're not going to be able to play Halo Infinite anymore, and it's just going to be a sad day.
This isn't related to PlayStation, but like, do you think the 1S and the 1X names are good, or do you think they're confusing? Do you think it'll be confusing for people?
I think it's fine. I mean, I think it works well enough for the 1X and the 1S.
Yeah.
But I do think that a lot of like parents and stuff are going to say, "Oh, well, they've kids asked us to get them the 1X, but this 1S is." Oh, this Series S is a lot cheaper, so maybe we'll just get that instead.
$200 cheaper,
yeah.
It's impressive though. I mean, I gotta say the Series S for $300, the hardware in
Yeah,
there. I mean,
it's a genuinely good deal.
I mean, it's not what like you're saying. Like, don't some of the this fanboy is saying like it's faster than the PS5. Don't believe that. And now there's articles coming out that it's extremely bottlenecked and it's not as great as it seems. So I would tread lightly on that. But I'm not to bash the one. It's still very impressive hardware.
I think we just gotta see it in practice a lot more. Like, gotta see how it goes. I mean, I that price point is really good, but we'll see if the hardware actually backs it up.
I believe it does. Yeah, I believe it doesn't have 1X capabilities. Like a lot of the next gen games can't run.
Right. So yeah, I heard about that. So what it's not they're not offering the Xbox One X upgrades on the Series S. Even though the hardware is better, I think, than the Xbox One X. They're not offering those upgrades, but I think there will still be next gen upgrades available on the One S, so it's not that big a deal.
No, but it's not the One X. Like it's like,
I mean, there's got to be a difference between the two, right?
Yeah, like this has got to be for a more casual audience. Because if you're a hardcore Xbox fan, I don't see why you would get a One S unless you just want to collect. There are people that buy like 7 consoles, so.
I will say though,
yeah,
I'm a big fan of the idea of the Xbox All Access, and I wish Sony did something similar, and maybe they will, where they let you pay
$35,
a certain amount of money, a small amount of money, like 25 quid or whatever a month, for 24 months. You get the console, and you get 24 months of Game Pass Ultimate. Which is a pretty good deal. Like, that's a great deal. Be honest. So if
right?
What?
Huh?
It includes EA Play, right? The whatever.
Yes, yeah. I mean, for as long as that deal lasts until it falls apart. I mean, because who knows? But yeah. I mean, that seems like a great deal. I wish Sony did something sort of similar to that.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it's $35 a month, right? Dory.
30. I think it was 35. Yeah, 35 for the Series S. Or was it, no? It's 35 for the Series X and 25 for the Series S, I believe.
That's. I wonder how that's gonna work though. Like they're just gonna hand them out like that, and there's gotta be limitations to that. I'm sure there's a catch.
Probably, but they've already got a system like that, I think, in the US. But they're going to branch out to other countries now.
Yeah.
At the risk of turning this into an Xbox podcast, but
no, it's related.
Yeah, I've pushed to get. I've not been a fan of that business model. I've been sort of wary of game consoles turning into phones where they get put on contracts and stuff. I'm not been a big fan of it. But at those prices, you can't really argue. I mean,
it's great.
Yeah, for sure.
Also on the PlayStation prices, I mean, what I'd like to see is 400 and 350, but what I expect is probably more like. Well, maybe not. Maybe like 450, 350. But
that would be ideal. That'd be the best.
Yeah, that would be ideal. But I don't know that that's going to happen because, like James said, that's just one piece of hardware. I don't know how much the disc drive is really worth.
Yeah.
Just buying things online, save $100 worth of money. But like you said, Seb, I don't know. Companies never seem to do, like we were talking about this earlier. They never seem to do the $50 thing. And honestly, even thinking about it for myself, like. If I looked at one and looked at the other and it's just a $50 difference, like I'd tempted to get the disc drive. And I mean, I think I'm still going to buy discless no matter what, no matter if it's a $50 difference or not, because I just, during this whole pandemic, I've realized how convenient it is just to buy online. And, although I like that experience of going to stores, A, it's not worth my health. And B, even when it's not a health factor anymore,
right.
I haven't really had an experience since I bought Kingdom Hearts 3, and even that wasn't like, I was just waiting in line for 5 minutes,
Yeah. I mean, going digital only for me would hurt me a little bit, only because Walmart and GameStop tend to have some nice deals sometimes on physical games. Like Walmart especially, you get like $50 games right off the bat. Like games are not even $60 on Walmart. They automatically cut $10 off, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, but $50 is not enough for me to stick with digital. I would just get the
I'm hoping there's $100 split and it's $350, $450, and then
the safe
I'll just wait for the deal and get discless. That's like ideal for me. But again, I don't know if that'll happen. We'll wait till we'll have some sort of live commentary on Wednesday for that.
I'm quite confident that the PS5 is either going to match the Series X or it's going to be cheaper. I don't think it's going to be more. But I think the safest bet is regular version's $500 and the digital is $400. I think $400 is a great price that Sony likes the best.
Yeah.
PlayStation 4 is the second highest selling console of all time. So $400 is probably ideal for PlayStation.
Yeah.
It took, like I said, it was $450 to make it. So $50, you're losing a $50 profit on that. Like,
I think 400 and 500 are the safe bet.
It's the safest bet. But 350 would be checkmate. 350 would be.
I definitely can't imagine them going higher because that would be a huge blow.
It'd be a huge mistake. Yeah. But if it's 350, that's a checkmate on Xbox. Xbox would have no matter how good their services or anything, people are gonna buy the PS5 $50 more. It's just how it is. PlayStation's a bigger user base. Now let's get into like what we think it's gonna be at the event. That's gonna be the last topic. The Silent Hill rumor is really getting a lot of there's a lot of fire there now. Like I keep seeing it on Twitter. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but there's something to that. I keep hearing it. It keeps popping up. Now the rumor is I think Team Japan or something is doing it. What?
I said I think something is definitely. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think something is definitely in the works. But I don't know what, by who, how long. Yeah. I kind of just want it to happen just so Silent Hill fans can have something. I'm not even a big fan of Silent Hill. Not that I dislike it. I just never got into it.
It's been a rough 16 years.
It's been
Pachinko machines. That's what the series is.
Like what, some fucking kind of collection or remake on the Wii back in like 2010 or something.
Exactly. Pachinko machines now. That's what they are. That's what they turned into.
Trust me, I watched Jim Sterling. I know.
Yeah.
It's funny though. I saw this meme. I saw this meme where it's like it was a gran saying Kojima's going to make his own Silent Hill game with that Sony money, and then somebody's saying, "Okay, Gran, let's get you to bed."
I know people love Death Stranding's uniqueness and all that, but like Del Toro and Guillermo del Toro and Kojima doing a Silent Hill game together, that would have been a masterpiece. Like PT was so good.
I've ever played in my life. Like I would have loved to see a Silent Hills.
That was the biggest disappointment probably in gaming history in terms of like canceled games. That and Star Wars 1313.
Del Toro makes amazing work, and so does Kojima.
I love Del Toro.
It's so match made in heaven. Anyway, what do we think is going to happen at the
event? So apparently, Cory Barlog had Kratos in the banner, and then he changed it or something like that. Someone took a screenshot of his account. So people think they're going to reveal God of War 5 at the show.
That would be cool.
Like
I mean, it wouldn't.
I could see a teaser.
Yeah, I could see a teaser for sure. I mean, 2018.
Yeah.
They revealed. I mean, when did they reveal God of War? God of War took 5 years to make, right?
16.
They revealed it in 16 and released in 18.
Yeah.
So I think so. Yeah, I mean,
I think.
I maybe I could see them. I could see them showing something. The teaser. Maybe. The one guarantee I think is that we'll get a release date and some pre-order options for Spider-Man Miles Morales.
If we don't see Miles Morales, I'd be shocked. Like we haven't seen any gameplay yet. Like we've seen it like a little snippets, but we haven't seen a full demo of the game yet. I guarantee you that's gonna be there. It has to be. Comes out in 2 months.
Yeah.
So
maybe some stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Too, since it's a launch console.
What, Ratchet? You said?
Oh, probably something about Ratchet and Clank as well, since it's a launch game.
Launch window game. Probably early next year for that.
Yeah, we might get Demon's Souls release date. Like, there's a lot of like I said, there's a lot of smoke there too in terms of being a launch window or launch title game. Even a launch. Some people even think it's a launch title game. Like it feels like it's done.
Sorry, just to run back to Spider-Man real quick. Like,
no worries.
Hopefully this time they'll actually be more clear about what the game is. You know, whether it's a glorified DLC or what.
Lost Legacy, and literally everyone would have gotten it, and then they just had to muck around with. I was like so disappointed in Insomniac PR. I'm like, y'all get your heads together. This is not a hard sell here. I'm already into it, and I'm like a little disappointed.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think people got a little carried away with that too, though. Like, just let them. People were so like anxious for like PS5 news. They were like jumping on everything, like freaking out.
Yeah.
And you know, I've noticed there's been a lack of good puddle jokes. I need some good puddle jokes.
That's right. I was just thinking we don't have any puddles in this trailer, Seb. Do you think
ray trace
Spike Gamer.
Ray trace puddles.
The most common picture of Miles Morales is him standing on a puddle, like crouched down on
Yeah.
a puddle. So,
But that's prime
I know.
material. Why
I
don't they
know.
just use that? But yeah, I mean, that's right. You were saying anyway about Demon Souls.
yeah, I think Demon Souls is gonna get either get a release date, like a launch window, or there's a lot of smoke. People think it's gonna be a launch title. People think
Well,
it's
I don't
done.
know.
People think
I
it's
think-
done.
I think
I
if
don't
it was
know.
going to be a launch title, they would have said something at the last event.
And-
You know, they would have
right.
they would have gotten that out early.
And this doesn't mean anything, but Amazon in Australia like had box covers. It could be just placeholders, but there was one for Gran Turismo, and there was
Yeah,
one
they had one for Gran Turismo 7 as well, which
Yeah.
makes me think like I don't think that is anything because Gran Turismo 7 is still going to be years away. I think.
Yeah, so like, I don't know. This show is 40 minutes long, and like I can't think of any game really. Like that's the thing.
Well, okay, assuming they show gameplay for Miles Morales, right?
It's like 10 minutes.
And that's a high possibility considering when it's due to launch.
Mhm.
That'll probably take up like 10 minutes of the show.
probably.
So
Yeah.
there's a good
And
chunk
this-
there.
Release date and the pricing is probably another 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's probably some indie. There's probably gonna be a lot of indies thrown in there that we saw at the last PlayStation 5 event. Like they're probably gonna show more of them, like more gameplay of them.
Maybe some updates on some
Yeah.
third parties like Resident Evil 8.
Yeah, I would expect to see Resident Evil 8 because Resident Evil and PlayStation are the last few years. They're always at a PlayStation event. So the remake 2 and 3 were both shown at a PlayStation conference. So
I remember that trailer for 2. That was so good.
yeah, and 3 was shown at State of Play. So yeah, I would expect to see Resident Evil 8. Yeah, I can't.
Maybe they might do a 5-minute montage of all the games getting next gen upgrades.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think they're going to probably debut the Mark Cerny ASMR that we've been requesting.
They'll introduce
Simulator.
a new app where you can send Mark Cerny personally photos of your ear.
Maybe they'll show like different color controllers or a different color console or something. That's a possibility. I
could see that.
It's
Maybe
more
they'll variant, like a Miles Morales variant. Oh boy, Seb,
I guarantee you on that one. But I definitely think we're gonna get different controllers. I think that's more possibility than the console. I think the consoles they're probably not gonna do a black one this early, but the controller though I can see a black one and a red one or something like that. They'll probably do something. I have to get two because I always rotate them.
I mean, they've already gone out and released announced a gold variant of the console. And
that reminds me, the gold version of the console that's like 8,000. No, it's like I think it's like 8,000 pounds for you. For us, it's like $11,000.
We were gonna do an analysis of that, weren't we?
But like this, if you look at the number, the difference between the digital version and the regular version is $100. So is that is that a hint?
I don't know, like, but consider like the inflation of how much more gold there's going to be, because the disc version is bigger. There's more real estate there, so there's going to be more gold on it. You know,
free real estate.
Well, it's cheaper, so it's cheaper.
So if you account for the fact that there's more gold, you know, I think once you level that out, it might be a £50 or dollar difference.
Maybe, but
could be. Can we get somebody? I said this to you guys before, but can we get somebody who's good at maths to go and calculate the value of the gold on the console, and take that away from the price of the gold console, and then that'll leave us with the price of the console.
I think I did.
If you think about
it, was like 200 something per carat or something like that.
Who knows?
Yeah. So, all right. Do you guys have any other predictions or expectations for the PS5 show? I can't think of anything, right?
I
would like to know.
I think the only sure thing,
Yeah.
the only sure thing's gonna be Spider-Man. I think, and the price.
Yeah.
Oh, it would be amazing if they made the discless version $360 just to be jerks, but obviously that's not going to happen. But I just would love it. $360.
PS5 is going to be $498, and the disc version is going to be $298.
That's right.
No, I want to know more about that headset, like the 3D audio one, because I'm strongly considering getting it. If it's like,
if you want to know more about the 3D audio, you can go and check out Mark Cerny's deep dive into the PlayStation 5 hardware.
Did you talk about that?
Because he goes into great depth
Okay.
in that.
I want to like.
He asks for pictures of your ears. He says, "Lend me your ears."
I want it in layman's
And we
terms.
did.
I want it in layman's terms. Like I want it.
Okay.
I want the For Dummies version of
That's lame. He wants it in layman terms.
Yeah. All right. That concludes our show because we're at an hour and a half. So.
Wow.
Yep. Thanks for joining me. As you can see, we're at only a 3-person panel. It's probably gonna be the same thing again next week. And then after that, Mitch graduates, so he'll be back on with us, and we'll see what Fran.
He graduated joining the PS podcast premiere. He's very proud.
Yes, we'll be there for his graduation. Like
that's right.
We'll stream it and be like, hey,
good job, bitch.
Yep. Look out for Mitchie's graduation reactions.
That's right.
Speaking of reactions, we're gonna do a live stream of the PS5 event. It's at 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That'll be tomorrow on the day we upload this, right?
It'll be tomorrow when we upload it. And I'm gonna jump on in like 3:30ish because this is our first time doing a live stream, and I have to get all the settings and everything worked out. So I don't know how that. We'll figure all that out after. But yep. So thanks for joining me, guys. You guys all have a good night. And
okay.
Peace. What's up, PlayStation fans? Thank you for listening and watching the PS Premiere podcast. We upload every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you like what you heard, click the like button and subscribe.